they're asleep.
Where's Eddie?
Oh, I don't know, Netta. He didn't come home.
He didn't call?
Nothing. They're
Netta.
fine.
Where the bloomin' heck have you been?
Hi, Norma. In the lockup.
Oh, don't bull me. Poor Norma.
The fact that Benita is riding a bike while heavily pregnant, and the viewer can see her going over bumps and lifting the bike, raises further concerns for her health. Current research seems to indicate that cycling while pregnant is very low risk. However, traditionally there has been great fear surrounding bike riding while pregnant. When Eddie says he's been in the lockup, Norma hangs her head and briskly walks off. Norma looks very frazzled because she's been babysitting all night long. She must also feel frustrated and disappointed that her Aboriginal neighbour has been in jail. As a fellow mother, Norma might judge Eddie for his actions and feel sorry for Benita.
You've been sitting up there with the kids all night. Thanks. You been out grogging with the communists?
I never had a drop.
Benita refers to the union members as communists because this was during the period of the Vietnam War and there was a great fear of communists. A central tenet of communism was worker rights and equality for all, thus the similarity with workers' unions. Also, during periods of industrial action across Australia, several unions on strike were led by communists. The Menzies government, which led from 1949 to 1966, strongly opposed communism and also escalated fears of communism in the community. Therefore, Eddie being involved in union activity put his family at risk since they were subjected to the discrimination that was expressed towards communists. In a 1996 interview, Noel Lewis, a James Cook University historian and friend of Eddie's, said, "One day after he moved to Townsville, Koiki and Benita went for a stroll along Flinders Street, one of the city's main thoroughfares. It was state election time and there were speakers on street corners from the main political parties. Koiki stopped to listen to one old man speaking, Eddie Heilbron from the Communist Party of Australia. Koiki had never heard of communism, didn't know what a communist was, but was fascinated by the speaker and his ideas. It was his first introduction to left-wing party politics." This next one is an excerpt from a transcript of a lecture by Eddie Mabo at James Cook University. Eddie Mabo said in a lecture at the university, "When I first landed here and became involved with the Aboriginal affairs, I was classified as being red. Now, red is a term associated with communism because of the communist flag, which is red, symbolising the blood of the workers who died in the struggle against capitalism."
Been in the lockup. Yeah, look. Here's the papers. Read.
Oh, Quickie. What have you done now?
Hey, you fellas gonna include me in the joke?
No joke, mate. They reckon up in the office that you're the Viet Congs.
The scene on the boat where the white workers are laughing at Eddie and referring to him as the Viet Cong is another reference likening him to the communist enemy at the time in Vietnam. This is exemplary of another form of discrimination Eddie has to face on top of being discriminated against as an Aboriginal man.
I quit.
You did what?
I told them to stick their job. They cut my pay. They put me on the shore with a stinking sledgehammer.
Just as Eddie was putting great force into his sweeping job on the boat, Benita is seen in a close-up shot to be forcefully using the palm of her hand to push the knife into pumpkin flesh. Needing to use one's hand in such a way actually really hurts, but despite the discomfort, Benita is staying strong and working hard to create meals for her family. Eddie announces that he quit, not just because of verbal discrimination, but because due to his union affiliations, his workplace reduced his pay and gave him a very difficult job, putting pressure on him to quit since they don't like union members working for them. After this announcement, Benita returns to cutting the vegetables, but this time using a stabbing motion with the tip of the knife entering the flesh first. This may be symbolic of what she feels like doing to Eddie right now, as she feels he has let her and the family down by turning away their primary source of income.
That's what you get for mixing with communists.
It's not against the law to be in the union. It's not against the law to be black.
You've already been in the bloomin' lock-up, Quickie. What's going to happen next? Get another job, lose that one? All over town you'd be known as a communist, and then what?
I'm not a communist. And even if I was, they're the only ones who want to do anything for black causes.
Black causes. Now I've heard everything. People like us, we can't afford to be troublemakers.
Nera. People like us have no choice but to be troublemakers.
A shaky handheld camera is again used in this scene, and there is additionally diegetic sound of the crickets, a summer insect, in the background. This is coupled with natural light from the windows illuminating the sweat and perspiration on the actors. This combination of techniques helps to establish a very heated environment as the couples exchange words. When Eddie refers to black causes, he is referencing the civil rights movement occurring in America at the same time between African Americans and white people. Benita scoffs at this because she doesn't see her circumstances in the same light or with the same possibilities as the African Americans are experiencing. The quotes, "People like us, we can't afford to be troublemakers," and "people like us have no choice but to be troublemakers," clearly shows the differing views between Eddie and Benita. While Benita is really concerned about what people all over town have been saying and worries about the consequences for their family, Eddie believes that fighting for their rights is the only option for a better future.
Because if we don't have any pride left.
I'll give you stinking pride. You got 3 kids, stupid man. 4th on the way. Healthy, happy kids, what more do you want? Kids gotta be fed, gotta have clothes on their back. How many prawns I gotta pack, huh? How many stinking prawns in the middle of the night standing there like a bloomin' flamingo? Coming home on that push bike, 2 o'clock in the morning. Coming home to an empty house because my old man's in a lockup. I'm not having it, Quickie. I'm not bloomin' having it.
Pity's sake, woman.
If you don't stop mixing with those commos, I'm leaving you. And I'm taking the kids.
That idiot girl the other day served all the white people before you. And what did you do?
I told her to ring it up, and I told her I didn't want it no more.
She was wild, was she?
She was wild.
The issue of pride forms another cornerstone theme in the film. Some believe that Eddie's ego or pride puts both his family and his cause at risk during various points of the narrative. Here, Benita clearly outlines that it is his pride which is resulting in the neglect of his family, and he should not be greedy and want more than a healthy family. However, Eddie is able to get back on Benita's side by reminding her that she too has her own ways of protesting and causing trouble. He recalls an incident where she was served last in a shop due to being Aboriginal, and in response she let the cashier calculate the total of all her items and then said she didn't want to buy them to waste the cashier's time as a subtle form of revenge. This helps to remind Benita that they both share a sense of pride. They just defend their pride via different means and to differing extents.
I've been talking to some people in the Aboriginal Advancement League in Cairns. They reckon I should start up a branch down here. The waterside workers, they say they'd support it. We gotta get together. That's how the union get things done. They get together. They lobby, they fundraise, and they fight to make things better.
Well, how you reckon we're going to do all this? Make all this stuff better.
Any way we can. We set up a housing co-op, schools for black kids. We walk around the streets with leaflets, organize dances for blackfellas to raise money. And we march with the unions on May Day.
Right under the government's nose.
That's right.
And what kind of havoc all this dancing and leaflet and marching going to play in my varicose veins? Eh? Quirky Mabo?
Eddie lists a range of activities that he does actually go on to undertake with Benita's support. Her response about her varicose veins is her good-humoured way of saying that she'll support him. He knows that she doesn't really care about how marching and leaflet drops will make the veins on her legs stand out. She's just using this example to lighten the conflict and draw the couple closer together after their heated discussion. This is another example of how Benita helps to keep the relationship and the family together.